How about this sunrise? It's chilly here, probably about 45 degrees, something like that. Probably nothing close to what some of you guys are getting. But I wanted to shoot another video to give you an update. In the last video, if you're just joining, I've got a bus here, a T444e, which is basically a Ford Power Stroke that has given out on me going down the road. It lost a piston. The piston just broke off of the rod, and so it did so much damage to the cylinder wall that it couldn't be replaced. It's a dry sleeve. So I just took it out, and everything was looking good for about 100 miles, and then it started misbehaving. When it gets up to temperature, it loses power, and I put both a fuel gauge on it and a oil pressure gauge. There's one on the dashboard, but these vehicles are HUE injector systems, and they require high pressure oil. So I put one on, and it looks like I'm doing okay. I've got 1,000 pounds. It could be more, but 1,000 pounds ought to get me there. I mean, it's power's just fine until it warms up to temperature. I've got a scan gauge on it so I can see the digital readout, and when it gets at about 145, 150 degrees, that's when things change. And so I've done just about everything you could imagine to fix it, and it's still doing it. So I was looking, and it threw a code for pressure. It's all it said. It's kind of a basic, less than $200 gauge, and it said, you know, pressure. And so I looked around, and there's an oil pressure gauge on or an oil pressure sensor, excuse me, on top of the HPOP system, which I'm going to look at and bench test later today. I also got all the fixins for a homemade turbo test, because I'm not getting very much turbo boost. Now that's an ancillary issue. I could drive it like that, but just for what it cost me to make up a gauge, I haven't made it yet. I'll look and see if there's some stuff around here I can show you. And there's not. Here's my mess. There's my mess. I put the moving blanket over the doghouse to hold the heat in a little bit better, and then I put this up here to hold the heat in a little bit better. I've got a furnace. Anyway, I'm running long, just rambling here. What I wanted to say was, in the last video I said I'm going to put new O-rings on the injectors, and if that doesn't do it, then there's a dog barking. I think that's Becca's dog, Phoebe. Savannah's still gone. Anyway, the injectors, I did the O-rings and it didn't fix it, and I said I was going to leave anyway. And I couldn't bring myself to do it. I still hadn't gotten into the fuel tank yet to see if there was an obstruction there, some kind of a blockage somewhere. And I have since done all that, and so now where I'm at is my big fat update after all that hubbub is I'm going to bench test the fuel pressure gauge. I'm going to test the turbo. If I can think of anything else, I may try to shim the spring in the fuel pressure regulator a little bit more. I already did it and put an O-ring on it. It was missing an O-ring, and no effect. So I'm hesitant to think that if I just do it more, that'll be the miraculous cure for everything. But I'm going to do these two things, and if that doesn't do it, then I'm just going to leave early in the morning in a couple of days from now and drive as far as I can with that cold motor, and I'll hole up right short of any busy towns, including Las Vegas and Lake Havasu. And there she is. Oh, she's full of it. I hope I'm holding the camera right. I'll just stop short of these towns and then get up early in the morning when everything's as cold as it can be and just drive through them. You know, I'll know how it behaves more by the time I get to those, because they're a little over 100 miles away. But that's what I'm doing. I'm either going to try these last couple things. I mean, at the end of the day, it's coming apart when I get located. So it's almost, you know, pointless. If I can, I'm just switching one problem over to another problem, getting through towns with no power at 150 degrees temperature. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing all right. And I'm doing all right. We're doing all right. Like to see Savannah back, but by now it's probably not going to happen. And we'll see you on the next one. When I get going, I'll start rapid firing these little quick videos to just give you an update on how it's going and how it all shakes out. Or maybe I'll fix it. All right, see ya.